was that?
Yeah,
Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. So let's get started with the seven realities. Uh, Ashok, you can start by reading the seven realities if you don't mind.
yes, definitely. Definitely. Avatar, Meher Baba ki Jai, the seven realities: existence, love, sacrifice, renunciation, knowledge, control, and surrender. I give no importance to creed, dogma, caste, or the performance of religious ceremonies and rites, but to the understanding of the following. 1. The only real existence is that of the one and only God, who is the self in every finite self. 2. The only real love is the love for this infinity God, which arouses an intense longing to see, know, and become one with truth. God. 3. The only real sacrifice is that in which, in pursuit of this love, all things body, mind, position, welfare, even life itself are sacrificed. 4. The only real renunciation is that which abandons, even in the midst of worldly duties, all selfish thoughts and desires. 5. Only real knowledge is the knowledge that God is the inner dweller in good people and in so called bad, in saint and in so called sinner. This knowledge requires you to help all equally as circumstances demand, without expectation of reward. When compared to take part in a dispute, to act without the slightest trace of enmity or hatred, try to make others happy with brotherly or sisterly feeling for each one, and to harm no one in thought, word, or deed, even those who harm you. 6. The only real control is the discipline of the senses, to abstain from indulgence in low desires, which alone ensures absolute purity of character. 7. The only real surrender is that in which poise is undisturbed by any adverse circumstance, and the individual, amidst every kind of hardship, is resigned with perfect calm to the will of God. Given by Meher Baba in 1952, Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. Thank you, Karthik, and over to you.
Baba ki jai. Thanks, Ashok So we are in the session number 29, and we are still in 1949, I think. And we are in volume two of the book. So, any thoughts before we get started? Okay, so if there's no feedback or comments before we start, let me get started by reading from the page 179 of volume 2. So this is where we stopped. And let's continue from that point on. Sar Meher Baba ki jai. Najibabad to Dehradun. By late morning, the party arrived. First question Baba asked Adi was about the lodging facilities. Adi answered that he had arranged open air accommodations on a platform in an unkempt garden. This was not heartening news, and Baba admonished Adi for not trying harder to secure a better place. Adi silently submitted to Baba's reprimand, but in the course of their talk, told him about the food and the railway fare arrangements he had made. This pleased Baba. Baba's sneering and cheering were significant. They were meant to free his dear ones from the binding sands of I did it. Sanskrit line states, even the anger of the God man is verily a blessing. The party, with its coach and carts, was led to the garden. The animals were tethered, and Pendu began his work of looking after the needs of these dumb creatures. Adi went to the town to inform Makhan Lal that lunch was needed. From the uncommon conditions, this merchant intuitively felt that the party he was going to entertain must be an extraordinary group. In a few hours, he brought a nice lunch to the garden. He was taken to Adi's elder brother. In his flowing hair, Baba looked incredibly beautiful. His presence commanded respect. When Makan Lal saw Baba, he could not help but touch Baba's feet by way of offering his homage. Adi gathered that Baba disliked this devotional gesture of Makan Lal. So, in soft Gujarati, Adi told Baba that he had not disclosed his identity to the visitor. Pleasing look reappeared on Baba's face, and directed upon request, he permitted Makan Lal's family to visit the garden the next day. For practical reasons, he was told that morning and afternoon tea were to be ordered from the railway station. From the beginning, at Sarnath, villagers seemed to express special concern and curiosity about the two female donkeys named Sakhu and Thaku. Carrying them to Hardwar while on pilgrimage to the Kumbh Mela struck them as rather unusual. The donkeys, too, were not very cooperative in marching with the other animals. In the beginning, poor Gustaji, who was observing silence, had great difficulty in driving and dragging them onto the camp. Later, Mani and Mehru, by loading them with odd things, somehow managed to get them moving ahead. Najibabad, Baba wished to sell them. Sadashiv, that is Patel, was asked to take them to the market. The first day, the customers offered a very low price, and so they were brought back. The next day, Baba fixed a price and instructed Sadashiv to settle the bargain with a person who would of himself propose to have both for that particular amount, not more, not less. On that day, no one offered the fixed price, and Sadashiv returned again. On the third day, a customer approached Sadashiv and, on his own, offered exactly the price confirmed by Baba, and off went Saku and Thaku with their new master. Maybe Baba wished that this particular person should own them, and so the deal was delayed by 2 days. Mysterious New Life dealing. During the stay at Najibabad, when Adi was standing near the gate, a stranger approached him and began to inquire about the party's intentions. Adi tried to be evasive, but the man persisted in asking rather pertinent questions. When Adi looked annoyed, the person said, "Do you know that the garden where you're staying belongs to me? You are trespassers." This was startling news. Adi went inside and talked to Baba about the situation. He also told Baba how 2 days earlier another stranger whom he had coincidentally met there had gladly permitted the party to stay in the garden. Of course, this had been done orally and nothing had been given in writing. Hearing this without the least perturbation, Baba gestured that under such circumstances it was better that they leave the garden and move somewhere else. Adi met the person and apologized for the intrusion. He also informed him of their intention to vacate that place then and there. With this answer, the person calmed down so much that in turn he asked Adi to forgive him for being discourteous. He also told him that he would be pleased if the party continued their stay in the garden till they all left for Hardwar. Further, he explained that he had lodged a case in the court for the legal possession of that garden and that the respondent might have deliberately misguided Adi. With this cordial conversation, the forthcoming inconvenience was warded off and the whole matter ended well. Sharp thorns sometimes bring us closer to the flowers. Let's take a pause here. It's interesting to see that um, Baba has picked this property, which actually is involved in some sort of legal dispute. Apparently, the first person that offers use of the garden is not probably the person that's entitled to free possession, or at least there is a dispute to his claim. And there is another person that uh, comes along and tries this. So obviously, there is something deeper than just what we see in the surface, on the surface. So probably there's something that's going on with these people and the use of the land, and we never know. Maybe they had an impact from even talking and meeting with Baba and Baba's Mandali. So I just thought I wanted to comment on that.
Yeah, yeah, very right. Jay Baba, there is more to it than that meets the eye, and also there are behavioral patterns of Baba. Suddenly, sometimes he gets displeased, either with the accommodation or something. So it's more. I mean, it can have a deeper spiritual significance, which may be difficult for us to understand. And so there are, sometimes Baba is happy, sometimes he is not happy. So I mean, there are there are things to be derived, or at least we can understand that there are uh, small nuances of Baba's behavior. And I'm just feeling that these people are so happy that they were physically present with Baba. Jai Baba, this is just my thoughts, Jai Baba. Hello?
I think the full impact and full benefit of what just happened, I'm sure they don't realize at that time, right? Even if you take the Nath family in Banaras, the people here, they will probably, unless they've had some personal contact and some deep intuitive experience right then and there, it's more likely that they rarely realize the import and the full uh, the gift that they received, right? They may not even realize at that time.
Oh,
Anyway,
absolutely. And it's a very right observation. And even in Pune, there's Dilmer, who's Hosang Boroja's daughter. She said that when she used to go to Mehrabad, she never realized the significance of that, and she just took it like another passing event. But actually, uh, they were very fortunate that
and
they.
yeah, also India exposes you to so many people from uh, the spiritual realm and mystical realm and religious realm that you can not be blamed for taking these things lighter than normal. If this happens in the West, it's always a significant event because it's very unusual. Whereas it's very normal and usual in India to see a Swamiji, a group of mendicants, monks, fakirs, anything, right? All of this is par for the course anywhere in the country. So that's part of the reason why he gets the anonymity and gets less recognized. Anyway, let's get back if there are no other comments. We can get back to reading. Okay. Owing to the physical strain of the new life, Kakabaria had a severe heart attack at Najibabad. 2 days earlier, Ghani too had grievous chest trouble. And I think it was also confirmed in earlier passages that it was a heart attack. In the gypsy life, comforts and discomforts changed hands in quick succession. The sickness of the companions made Baba confirm his former intention of traveling from Najibabad to Dehradun by railway. Some companions were to drive the carts and the coach caravan by the main road so as to reach the headquarters at Manjari Mafi within a week. With this decision, Baba asked Adi to inform in advance the wholesale dealer in Katechu to arrange for the railway tickets. The date of departure was January 12th. They were to board the Doon Express passing through Najibabad by early morning. May not be a bad idea to do a quick tour on Google Maps to tell you what's going on. Najibabad, I think, is closer to Delhi. And, Baba's going north towards
It's close to Haridwar.
Hardwar. Oh, is it? Okay,
Najibabad
then
is
it's
very
already
close to
north.
Haridwar. Yeah,
Then it's already north of
it's very
Delhi.
close to Haridwar.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, is it north of Delhi or south of Delhi? Yeah, it's
I'm not
already
sure
close
if it is in
to.
the same district. It could be the
Yeah, yeah,
same
yeah.
district also. That I'm not
It's.
sure.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's north of Delhi.
If you drive from Delhi to Haridwar, and as you
It's
approach
on the way.
Haridwar, you will pass through Najibabad.
Yeah. So if just for context, Najibabad is the one that's here. Okay.
Yeah, and then
And
Haridwar.
Delhi is here. So it's north of Delhi and it's right close to Hardwar. But Baba is heading towards Dehradun. I mean, he's taking the Dune Express from Najibabad. And how did they get here? I think they came through Mathura and Hathras and other places that we looked up on the last time. And they're coming from deep south. I mean, not deep south. Uh, they're actually
From the
coming
east,
from
they were
Banaras,
coming from the
right?
east.
Yes,
If
yes.
yeah,
Eastern Uttar Pradesh, and they went all the way to
yeah.
Hardwar. And they're heading to
And
Kumbh
Dune
Mela.
Dune Express still runs, and I think the route
Yes.
goes from via Kanpur or maybe
Mhm.
Lucknow, and it goes towards Dehradun.
Okay.
You can check the Dune Express route also.
Sure. Yeah. The Dune Express. Oh, it's Howrah. Wow. Further east. So it goes all the way from Howrah to Dehradun, Howrah Junction to Dehradun. So that's a long train. And Baba got on at Najibabad, which is somewhere towards the end of the journey. Wow, look at the number of stops. Moradabad, Seora, Najibabad. So it's from here to here, around a 4 hour. I mean, he was going to get off it's just 2 hours. And I don't think things have changed too much on the speed, maybe half an hour. So anyway, let's continue. With this decision, Baba asked Adi to inform in advance the wholesale dealer in Katechu to arrange for the railway tickets. The date of departure was January 12th. They were to board the Dune Express passing through Najibabad by early morning. So even the time matches. Early morning, this is 2 a.m. and probably this was a little later than maybe 3 or 4. According to the agreement, the merchant had consented to hand over the tickets and not money to Adi. He had allotted this work to his Munim. Munim is accountant. Accordingly, he was instructed to be present at the station by 3 a.m., and he was. When the train arrived, it was so crowded that it seemed impossible, especially for the women, to get into any of the third class compartments. Also, they had a lot of luggage with them. Baba hurriedly sent Adi to contact the Munim again and to ask him to pay the difference for transferring some third class tickets to first class. The Munim, on his own, without the prior consent of his master, agreed to this extra payment. This express train's halt at Najibabad was very short. It was not possible to contact the ticket inspector and get the due receipt for the change in class. So, informing the railway authorities and approximately calculating the money, the Munim gave the necessary sum to Adi. The women somehow got into the first class compartment, and most of the luggage was dumped in there. The companions managed to get into other third class carriages. At the next halt, Baba learned that instead of regular railway tickets, Adi had accepted money to be remitted to the ticket checker. Accepting money was not allowed in the new life. So Baba instructed Adi that after getting down at Dehradun, his first duty would be to refund the balance, no matter how meager the amount, by money order to the person concerned. Baba was particular in matters, small or big alike, and Adi literally followed Baba's instructions. To narrate every event of this gypsy phase is neither possible not practical. Nevertheless, the happenings at Najibabad mentioned above offer a glimpse of the inconceivable nature of the new life led by Baba. Move to the next chapter. This is 1950, Part 2. New plans in the new life. Any volunteers to read? Um,
I can read.
Ashok ji, okay, yeah, go ahead.
I can
And then
read,
I
and
see
then
Sanjay ji as well. Yeah,
yes, yes,
Mama
and then
ji, he wants. Yeah,
everybody should. I mean, you just tell me.
yeah, we'll rotate. Yeah, I'll rotate.
Just tell me
Gayatri,
where,
please.
because sometimes in the reading I get immersed and I, I don't have track of time. Anyway,
I will be a munim of time on the munim. Please carry on.
okay, Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. 1950, Part 2. Kumar's new plans in the new life. Um, that's the heading of the chapter, I think. Okay. Oh, anyway, uh, prior to the commencement of the new life in 1949, Baba had called one of his lovers, Keki Desai, from Delhi to Mehrabad. He was given the duty of purchasing a small piece of property near Dehradun in the name of Baba's companions. This was to be the headquarters of Baba's new life activity. Keki was asked to build a small tenement on the plot and to dig a well nearby. The work did not go as scheduled and could not be completed prior to Baba's arrival. So Desai, with the help of Hajivan Lal, an advocate from Delhi, made a tentative arrangement for the party to stay in Delhi, stay in Mrs. Pratt's bungalow on its arrival in Dehradun. The woman left for that place, but Baba was requested to wait a while in the waiting room on the railway station for lunch.
I have a question. Remember when Preeni auntie used to live in Bangalore? Some of you might know
Yeah,
Preeni
I too. I
auntie.
think the key desai that's being talked about. Yeah,
What's her
yeah.
husband's name?
I think you're right. That's the same doubt I had. I think it's Keki Desai, or is
Keki
it
Desai.
Keki Wala? I think it's Keki Desai. I'm not sure, but the other
Keki
things
Nalawala.
match.
Here,
There,
Keki Nalawala.
so it's different. It's
Keki
different.
Nalawala. Keki Desai is different. Keki
Yeah.
Nalawala. Because
So that Nosh
the
Nalawala. Yeah,
below editor,
Nosh
Nausharwan Nalawala.
Nalawala.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So it's a different
Thank you.
Keki.
Nosharwan and just
Yeah.
mom, I think. You're referring to Nosharwan and just mom. They were based in
Yes,
Dehradun. Yes.
Yeah.
but
Auntie was
apparently
telling Baba.
it's a different Keki looks like because that's Keki Desai and this was Keki
This is Keki
Nalawala.
Nalawala.
And
Mhm.
Keki
Yeah, it's a
Nalawala
woman
used
and
to
Keki Desai was a man.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that,
no. Keki Nalawala that Ravi is talking about is Frini Auntie's husband and the father of Noshirwan. And
okay,
Nausharwan
okay.
he
uncle.
was
Sorry.
a prominent employee of Singer, the multinational back in the day.
Yes.
And and I think Dehradun was the common connect, and Freni auntie has cooked for Baba and so on and so
Baba.
forth. But I
Chicken.
think
Yeah.
that we can check if Desai was another way of referring to Nalawala, but looks
No,
like
no, no.
it
It's a different
No, no, no. It's
person.
different
different.
person.
He is a
Okay, okay.
Delhi-based.
I
I've been
think
to that
Babala.
house in Old Delhi, where
Okay.
Baba also stayed at least thrice in that house in
Oh, okay.
Delhi. And that
Hmm.
Ghamela yoga that we read about during New Life
Yes.
was also, kind of that period was spent there in that house. I've,
Okay.
I've been to that house, Keki Desai's house in Delhi. Yeah.
Okay.
Jai
Great.
Baba. Yeah.
By the way,
Is Sunil here? Is Sunil here? Sunil,
yes, he
are you
is.
there? Now, how is Siddharth, who lives in Atlanta, related to
Jai Baba.
K- J. Baba Sunil?
Yes.
Remember
Yes.
Siddharth?
Well,
How is he related to
yes.
KK Desai? Was he related to KK Desai?
No, he's not. He's not.
Hmm.
He's not.
What was his
Siddharth,
father's name?
his father's name was,
Sharma.
what is Siddharth's first name? Ganju.
Ganju.
Siddharth.
Ganju. Yeah.
Ganju. Okay.
Siddharth
Ganju.
Ganju.
Ganju
Right.
and my grandfather were cousins.
Oh, I see. I
Okay.
see. I see.
They
Got it.
were.
Got it.
So he's
Wow.
Siddharth is my dad's cousin, first cousin.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent. I had one more doubt before we continue. So, there are two properties, or I mean, two places to visit in Dehradun, right? There's the center, and then there's Manjari Mafi. So, I'm wondering. I think the last visitor in this group must have been either Kama, and I think Sanjay ji also visited recently. I did visit both the places, but I'm getting confused between what is Manjari Mafi. Is Manjari Mafi the one with the yard around, the garden and stuff, which is
Yeah.
a little away from the city? Because here,
Yes. That is Manjari Mafi.
okay,
That is Manjari
okay,
Mafi. Yeah.
okay, correct,
Manjari
okay.
Mafi is the name of the village, actually. Yeah.
Village, that's what it just says in
Village
the
name.
next paragraph.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
please go ahead. It's now almost a suburb of Dehradun, and you won't realize that it was probably apart from the town of Dehradun. It's almost a continuous urban development up to this Manjari Mafi area. And Manjari Mafi is a nice suburb with nice houses and all that now. This is a oldish building with a big yard with a building in the middle. Anyways, please go ahead, Ashokji.
Yeah, yeah. The plot purchased for the headquarters was in a village called Manjari Mafi, now called Meher Mafi, a place a few kilometers from Dehradun. In the adjacent plot lived Shatrughan Kumar Gildayal, Gildayal, an agriculturist. Baba called him Kumar. Kaikobad Dastur, one of Baba's Mandli, was sent in advance to Dehradun in October 1949 to stay on the property at Manjari Mafi. One of, out of convenience, Kumar was asked to arrange for Kaikobad's meals. Kumar also supervised the construction work on the site. Keki Nalawala, one of Baba's dear ones at Dehradun, was interested with the work of feeding the party on its arrival. He asked Kumar to see this, and Kumar willingly agreed to send food. You have to raise the yeah, on Baba's arrival. The Baba party reached Dehradun by 10 a.m. on January 12th, 1950. It was time for food to be served to Baba. Kumar had come to the station to receive the Baba party, and Elish asked him about the food. Kumar knew that Mayor Baba, whom he was meeting for the first time, was very particular that one be punctual. So he left for his residence on his motorbike and soon returned to the radio station with good hot food. In the waiting room, Eric started serving Baba, food to Baba while Kumar was standing by his side. Baba casually asked him, "Why late?" Kumar told him that it was due to a slight misunderstanding on the part of his dear wife Shubhadra. She thought that the guests would visit their residence for the meal, with the intention of serving them steaming hot food, especially rice. She was waiting for the guests to arrive. This was the cause of the delay. Looking at Kumar, Baba held the morsel of rice in his fingers and expressed his happiness over its preparation. Baba was a good judge in appreciating different dishes and delicacies, their flavor, taste, everything. Very casually, he asked Kumar, "Did you feel perturbed over the delay? I hope you did not get angry with your wife." At this first meeting, Kumar was deeply drawn to Baba, but he did not expect him to ask such a personal question. He, however, replied with an open mind, "Yes, Baba, I did feel annoyed that the food was not ready in time." With a suggestive smile, Baba added, "Right, one should be particular about time. Did you admonish your wife for this? I hope you didn't hit her." Kumar might have thought that this was rather meddling too much in his personal affairs, but he could not help saying, in slightly, in that mood of impatience, I did strike her, though very slightly. Hearing this, Baba pushed aside the plate of rice with a grave look conveyed. How can I eat a food associated with ill feelings? The situation became tense. It was true that Kumar had lost his temper over a petty affair, but it was because of the inconvenience caused to his honorable guest. He considered that he had treated his wife roughly, but he didn't see why Baba should express such anxiety over someone else's personal affair. Yet Kumar did not express any annoyance, but simply apologized for ill treating his wife. This was perhaps the first time in Kumar's life when he unhesitatingly expressed his regrets over a personal affair before someone he was meeting for the first time. In the course of time, it was revealed to him that this someone was the ancient one and the most intimate one, to whom the life of each one was an open book. The above incident clearly shows that Baba expected them to treat women with respect and courtesy. In fact, respect life is one of Baba's teachings.
If I can request you to pause for a minute, two comments. First one, the keki confusion is very, very clearly clarified. And the fact that Freni auntie used to cook is also mentioned. So keki nalavala is mentioned above. Second, there is another culinary comment or culinary link comment I would like to make, and that's about Subhadra and Subhadra's grandson now, which is I'm not able to remember her name, the person, the lady in Mehrabad. Uh, her son, who's the grandson of Subhadra and Kumar, is now a
Madhusudan.
celebrated
Are you
chef
talking about
in New York.
Subhadra of Madhusudan's
No,
wife,
no,
Subhadra?
Subhadra. No. Subhadra, wife of Kumar, Shatrughan Kumar. The
Oh,
grandson is now a celebrated chef in New York, uh, award-winning,
oh, yeah, no, no, no.
and
In
Meherwan.
Ashwell,
No,
Ashwell.
also New York. Asheville was the first restaurant, but
I
his
see.
culinary journey started in New York, and he won his first award there, and now he's I
Nirvan.
believe the last Merwan, yeah. He also cooked for, I mean, he was part of the
Modi.
team that cooked for Modi at White House, and he's a real
Yeah.
celebrated chef. I think his last name, Meherwan, whatever. So I was just reminded that, you know, maybe that's got something to do with the fact that the
No,
grandmother
see,
Yeah.
cooked for
no,
the ancient one.
he is the
Good.
son of Amrit and Dara.
Amrit,
Yes.
yeah, that's the name I was missing.
Yeah.
Amrit and
Amrit.
Dara. Amrit is
Yes.
the daughter of
Yeah,
Shatrughan Sinha and Subhadra. Yeah.
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 Okay, so let's continue. Please. Ashok, you're on mute.
Sorry, sir. I'll read again. The verbal acknowledgement from Kumar did not seem to satisfy Baba. He told him that if Kumar promised not to repeat any ungallant behavior towards his wife, Subhadra, would he, Baba, partake of the lunch that was served on the table. He even stretched his hand, inviting Kumar to promise him. Things were moving so speedily that the rebellious spirit of Kumar had no chance to think about either complying or protesting against Baba's gesture. Kumar placed his hand in Baba's as a token of affirmation. Baba looked pleased and started eating the food. A little later, he took a morsel from his plate and offering it to Kumar, he indicated that Kumar should eat it. To the politically minded Kumar, such an act of intimacy was totally new, but he did not refuse it. In his meeting, by offering prasad to Kumar, Baba sowed the seed of a close relationship with him that was to blossom in the years to come. During the different phases of Baba's work to, in the new life, a few families which would not have met Baba in the ordinary course of events coincidentally came into his contact and became his ardent devotees. The new life brought Kumar's family into Baba's love orbit. Baba, the eternal fisherman, even now. I just wanted to add here that Baba has his own ways of bringing people into his orbit, and different people come under different circumstances. Jai Baba. The screen is
Roll
blank.
up,
I can
roll up.
just.
Yeah, yeah, I
You have
rolled
to
up,
roll.
and I think I will.
It is
I
taking
think
time.
there's some problem. Yeah. Uh, I'll just read the last line and then probably also rotate the reading to the next person. The
Yeah.
last line reads: The new life brought Kumar's family into Baba's love orbit. Baba, the eternal fisherman, even now continues to adopt marvelous means for netting his lovers. Right? With that, there's a new section, Challenge to Mr. God, which, by the way, is Shatrughan's story, which is very interesting. Kumar. Shatrughan Kumar is the name. Any other volunteers who will take up to read from this
Yeah,
point on?
let me. Yeah, I'll
Thank
read for a few
thank
minutes. Yeah.
Jai Baba, please. Thank you, Ashok. Jai Baba.
The significance of Kumar's promise to Baba can rightly be understood only when correlated with an event that occurred some years earlier and another incident that took place years later. This backward and forward sweep in narration shall reveal, to some extent, the profundity of Baba's actions. Kumar, as a youth, belonged to a revolutionary party. Those were the days when India was ruled by the Britishers. Kumar was a staunch patriot, wished to free his motherland, India, by any means whatsoever, including violence. Yeah, go up a bit more. Yeah. During the Second World War, India was still a British territory. Some Indians, especially those belonging to the revolutionary parties, concentrated on overthrowing the British regime and were jailed. Kumar was one of them. In the beginning, Kumar was at the Diwali in Rajasthan. Roll up.
Pull up.
Yeah, it is
It's
slow.
right in the middle.
No, no, no.
Okay.
For me, it is still at the bottom. Yeah. It is taking time to, I think. Yes.
Okay, let me stop sharing and start sharing again. If it's something with
Try that.
the network.
Ashok ji, your video is on. If it is accidental, then you can maybe put off or just tell you. Yeah.
Thanks.
This is the point. Is this visible?
Waiting.
Wow, something wrong.
Yeah.
So
You can
tell me
see.
when it's visible.
Yeah, I got it.
Ask. Okay, Kumar was.
Yeah, Diwali, Rajasthan, detention camp. And later, he was taken to the Bareilly camp in Uttar Pradesh. The main political party, the Indian National Congress, cooperated with the British. And so, when the war was over, although independence was not granted, many political prisoners were released as a goodwill gesture. However, terrorists who were regarded as a special threat continued to be detained, and Kumar was one of them. During his imprisonment, Kumar noticed that some of his friends would regularly offer prayers to God. He would sarcastically laugh at those who prayed. He had no faith. Yeah, roll up now. Yeah, gone. No faith in prayer, for he was a staunch atheist, not even an agnostic. One evening he thought, should I experiment with prayers? With a clear conscience, why should I not test God's existence? He wanted to be very concrete and practical in his experimentation. One evening, he addressed the impersonal presence as follows: "Oh, Mr. God, they say you are omnipresent and omnipotent. If you are really that, hear what I have to say. You can call it what you may, a request or a challenge. You know, I am in jail for no fault of mine except my love for the motherland, India. I am a married person and my dear wife and family members have to suffer for nothing. For you, if you are compassionate or at least reasonable, I sincerely agree to abide by the following terms. If you effect my release from the prison by tomorrow early morning, I shall accept your omnipresence. In that case, I assure you that I will dedicate the rest of my life in your service. That is my promise to you. And Mr. God, if I am freed any time after tomorrow morning, I shall treat this as a chance or anything but your doing. In that case, I shall not be bound to you or to anyone to keep this promise. Kumar knew that the jail office opened daily at 10 a.m. and that the time to discharge any political prisoners could not be earlier than that. However, whatever Kumar said to himself or thought that evening was not done as a joke. In some remote corner of his being, he felt that something might happen. Extraordinary might happen. Nothing is impossible, he thought. If the one I prayed to turns out to be the omnipresent one, the omnipotent one. After all, this is a sincere experiment. I must remain open and also take some risk. In that peculiar frame of mind, Kumar even started collecting his belongings in case Mr. God sympathetically considered his case. With a mixed feeling of belief and disbelief, he was unable to get any sleep. In the early hours, much before dawn, a jail officer visited Kumar's cell and handed him a note saying that he must be ready to leave the prison premises shortly. He was immediately taken to the office where a superintendent was present. It was a surprise to Kumar to find him there at such an unusual hour. The superintendent referred to some papers and told Kumar that he would be immediately released from the Bareilly jail and that he would have to wait outside the gates to collect his railway warrant, etc. No more explanations were given. When this unexpected event, with this unexpected event, Kumar felt greatly astonished. What a humorist God must be. He thought it was still dark and Kumar waited on the road to receive the allowances and railway warrant. His release from prison before sunrise, what a change in Kumar's outlook towards life itself. The atheist became an agnostic, and he had no idea that instead of indirectly experimenting the impersonal presence of God, he was to meet God in human form, face to face, and that in fact he had the greatest sense of humor. Some years later, Kumar came in close contact with Baba and had the unique fortune to stay with him as one of his mandali. He would regale Baba by narrating interesting stories. In 1954, during Baba's stay at Satara, Kumar would accompany Baba in the mornings of a stroll, for a stroll. His duty was to carry an umbrella to hold over Baba when needed. One day, during a morning walk, all of a sudden Baba turned to Kumar and gestured. Do you recall the promise that you gave me? Kumar could not understand what Baba meant. In 1953, during Baba's fiery free life, Kumar had been with Baba for a number of programs in different parts of India. He had witnessed thousands of people clamoring for Avatar's darshan. He had also been present when Baba had
Hello.
yeah,
So I have
roll it. Yeah.
I have a question. So atheist is someone who doesn't believe in God. From atheist, he became an agnostic. A- Agnostic is basically a person who believes that the existence of God is not provable. So this is, of course, a very big debate. How do you prove that God exists? So, of course, we all have the conviction that Baba is God, and so the I mean, even after this event, he was still again agnostic, and he didn't have full conviction. Is that what it means, or am I understanding
Yes,
it?
yes, you're
Maybe.
right. I
Yes, that's
think
what
it
it
was a
means. Yeah.
journey, so probably hold your horses. Maybe later on, obviously he becomes a Baba lover and one of the closest people. But maybe initially it was more first from atheist to agnost, and your definition of agnost is correct. So somebody who's either neutral or somebody who does not have that. I mean, is not able to recognize God for the absence of proof is a way to describe an agnostic. By the
Okay.
way, interestingly, there's one person on this call who has been through a similar experience, including the left-leaning and the radical thinking, atheist to agnost to Baba. So I will not reveal the name, but I'll just mention that much and leave it.
Yeah, yeah. We can make a guess, of course. We can make a
Okay,
guess.
very good.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah.
think same person, I don't know.
The idea of
Yeah.
secrecy is you shouldn't guess it, so leave it like
Yeah,
that. Keep the speculation alive.
yeah,
He had also been present when Baba had given instructions to some of his lovers. Kumar did not realize that Baba was referring to the particular promise he had given to him in the waiting room at Dehradun. So he said, what promise, Baba? Baba further gestured that he was referring to Kumar's promise to treat Subhadra, his wife, with respect. Kumar recollected the event and assured Baba that he was implicitly following Baba's instructions. Baba looked pleased and conveyed, "You have kept your promise. Good." And with a smile, he said, "I also kept my promise." Roll up. Yeah. Through this statement, Baba was indirectly indicating God's eternal promise to respond to prayers. For want of a definite context, Kumar did not gather what Baba meant. At this point, Baba gave him a meaningful look, and all of a sudden, Kumar remembered the challenge and the promise he had given to God when he was in prison at Bareilly. The incident, which had remained dormant in his subconscious for about a decade, vividly flashed before his mind in complete detail. Emotion brightened Kumar's face and his eyes glistened as he related to Baba for the first time the whole story. At the end, Baba smilingly gestured, "I am Mr. God. I am God in human form." What a mysterious and time penetrating corroboration. Later, whenever Kumar wrote letters to Baba, he would address him as "Dearest Khuda," God. Baba's casual act of taking a promise from Kumar at Dehradun had such a profound context. Every act of the avatar is immensely meaningful, indeed unfathomable in his Leela.
Is his Leela. Unfathomable
Is
is
his
his
Leela.
Leela. Yes,
Is
yes.
his Leela. Jai Baba. Yeah,
So I've
I can
heard this
continue.
story. Yeah, you can continue the next section as well. I'll just make a comment. I've heard this story many times, and I'm sure many of us have. But this is the first time I'm seeing it in actual narration, which is so specific and clear. And it's amazing to read and remember this. I mean, just think back on this when you find some time and you see how Baba works. It's just amazing. So he was serving the mandali. He was doing stuff for Baba for days and maybe weeks without realizing this relationship and why that connection has been established. And then Baba reveals later, uh, in fact, as we just learned. So very interesting. Please go ahead, Sanjay.
Yeah. In Mrs. Pratt's bungalow, Mehra, Mani, Gauhar, and Mehru left the railway station at Dehradun in a car that took them to a fine bungalow owned by an English lady, Mrs. Pratt. This villa, in contrast to the unkept promises at Najibabad, had a lovely garden. Premises at Najibabad had a lovely garden with 5 rows of rose bushes and many other flowering plants blossoming in the sun. There was a lovely lawn and a small orchard too. A fine view of the snow-capped Mussoorie hills offered a delightful sight. From whatever angle you looked, it was a vision of sheer beauty. Inside the bungalow was a well-furnished. It had a good kitchen and an electric stove. Hot water could be had at any time. They hadn't had a good bath for weeks, so this pleased them all the more. But in fact, they were more concerned about Baba. They thought that now Baba's clothes could be washed. Lukewarm water could be made available to him at any time. He will have a good rest here. They deeply felt that Baba's delicate body needed at least a few minimal comforts, especially after the strenuous gypsy life. They, however, did not know that their stay in the bungalow was to be just for a few days. In one part of the bungalow stayed an English couple. Mr. and Mrs. Angelo. Mr. Angelo had retired from the military services as an officer, but at that time he was depressed for he had lost his two sons in the Second World War. He was also suffering from some serious eye trouble and was gradually losing his sight. In addition, he didn't have enough money to return to England. Baba sent one of his companions to meet this couple. In the friendly talk that followed, Mr. Angelo revealed his plight. Baba, hearing of this, later managed to offer him some financial help through Dr. Tonkin to proceed to England. Maybe because of the Angelo's past connections, Baba agreed to that very short stay in Mrs. Pratt's bungalow. It has been noticed that Baba's movements, with all their unexpected changes, have roll up. Hmm.
Um,
Have a sublime spiritual motivation. Baba Jane, Baba alone knows. Another incident during this day, which I find more astonishing, is connected with Todi Singh and his first meeting with Baba. He was a cream contractor from Aligarh, a place over 100 kilometers to the east of Delhi. In the second week of January 1950, he had an unusual dream. In that fortuitous dream, he saw Baba in his long white sadra, effulgence radiating from his beautiful body. Baba's flowing hair, Baba's flowing hair added spiritual splendor to his personality. Todi Singh was in rapture and felt blessed. He reverentially touched Baba's feet. In the dream, Baba lifted him up and he spoke, "At present, I am at Dehradun. Come there, serve me, feed me." He had not heard of Meher Baba before, but the dream was so powerful that he felt convinced that the personality whom he had seen in the dreams was his master, and he intuitively addressed the master as Baba. The dream awakened him from his slumber of worldliness. With eyes streaming with tears, he decided there and then to visit Dehradun to meet the Radiant One. It was a divine call. Without knowing the name of the master or his address, he left for Dehradun. He carried with him good many things, packets of butter, fruits, sweets, etc., to offer in Baba's service. He was confident he would definitely meet him somewhere in that expensive city. A heart filled with love, no doubts. Through some coincidences, Tori Singh eventually reached the house of Keki Nalawala, 36 Royton Road, Dehradun. He remembered that he had seen his particular house in his dream. Overwhelmed with feeling, he knocked at the door. Keki Nalawala came out to find a stranger requesting him to accept a cart load of things he had bought. Keki asked him his name and where he came from. He also asked him why and for whom he bought these things. The only two words that Todi Singh repeatedly uttered to answer to any and all questions was Baba Jane, meaning Baba alone knows. Baba's arrival at Dehradun had not been disclosed to Baba people except for a few very close ones connected with the activities of New Life. Keki was forbidden to give anyone Baba's address. He wondered sorry, how Todi Singh, from a distant city, Aligarh, managed to visit his house just at the time when Baba was visiting Dehradun. With Baba's permission, however, Todi Singh was taken to Mrs. Pratt's bungalow. As soon as Todi Singh saw Baba, he became oblivious of the companions and everything else except Baba. He muttered to himself in Hindi, Wahi to hai, wahi to hai. He is the same one, he is the same one, whom he had seen in the dream. Instantaneous recognition, surprise and delight flashed across his face. Overpowered with blissful feelings, he could not say anything but shed tears of joy. Anyone can imagine with what fervor he must have promised, he must have prostrated at Baba's feet. All those who witnessed this scene were greatly touched by Tori Singh's devotion. After he offered all the things he had bought, Baba made Tori Singh sit near him and patted his back. In spite of the new life phase, Baba did not object to Tori Singh's expression of love and reverence. It seemed Baba knew about Tori Singh's dream. Referring to the packets of butter he had bought, Baba commented, teasing him, You have bought the cans, but who will cook the eatables in clarified butter? He, Tori Singh gladly and promptly replied, I shall regard myself as the most fortunate if you allow me to do that. I shall go and bring my wife and family here to render such service. Surprisingly enough, Baba unhesitatingly agreed to this proposal. It was an authentication of the instructions in the dream. Serve me, feed me. Todi Singh was sent to Aligarh and within a few days returned to Dehradun with his wife, daughters, and a son. By this time, Baba had left Mrs. Pratt's bungalow. The whole party had moved to Mahant Koti house at Manjari Mafi. From January 16 through January 21, Tori Singh fed Baba and his companions with tasty vegetables and other nutritious food. He looked exceedingly happy while serving Baba. He would be seen shedding tears of joy for the unique opportunity to serve the Lord of Love. He was absorbed in Baba's love that he evinced little interest in obtaining any information about Baba's earlier life. To him, Baba was God in human form, and hence he never thought of getting any personal information about Baba's earlier life. He was blissfully content in meditating on Baba's form and mentally repeating his name. He would not talk much with the companions, and if someone asked him anything about his family or business, he would repeat his pet phrase, Baba Jane. After a short stay, Baba instructed him to go back to Aligarh, and this made him extremely sad. On the day of his departure, he bowed down to everything and anything that Baba had touched. He was trying to express and swallow the grief of parting from the divine beloved. He strived to restrain his sobs. Oh, 1 minute. But but big bead-like tears often lingered at the edge of his eyes and subsequently flowed down his cheeks. Lodi Singh's first stay with Baba turned him into a semi-must, and his eyes looked intoxicated with Baba's love. He intensely longed to be with Baba for a second time, and in response to his love, Baba called him again to Manjari Mafi in the summer of 1950. But this was just for a few hours in connection with a business Baba intended to start at Delhi. And somebody take over reading. My eyes are getting moist. I'm not able to read well.
I can read.
Yeah, Jai Baba.
Lodi Singh had very devotedly served Baba and his companions with good food. This incident brings to mind the time when a person staying at Bhiwandi, Maharashtra, lovingly arranged a light refreshment for Baba and his people. This event is also connected with a dream and a march on foot. In 1923, Baba was staying in Manjil-e-Meem at Dadar, Bombay. During this period, with some of his disciples and devotees, Baba left Bombay on foot for Sakodi, where Upasani Maharaj, one of his five perfect masters, was residing. Sakodi was over 400 kilometers from Bombay. After walking a distance of 80 kilometers, the party reached Bhiwandi. Here, unexpectedly, the Baba party was received by a government servant. He told Baba that he had been anxiously waiting to meet him and asked Baba to kindly condescend to have some refreshment which he had arranged at the government rest house. Why? In the course of conversation, he revealed that in the early hours of that morning, which are regarded as very auspicious, he had had a mo- he had had a dream in which he saw a party of mendicants headed by a saintly personality with flowing hair and a bright silvery halo. The leader was wearing a long white cloak. When he awoke, the memory of the dream was so vivid and convincing that he began to await his spiritual guest. And then he met Baba. Baba accepted his breakfast served with love, whether in this old life or the new life. Baba's work of drawing his dear ones to him through love continued. And this heart orientation still goes on even more marvelously through though Baba has dropped the cloak he had donned for some years. The incidents connected with Major Angelo and Todi Singh have made Baba's short stay in Mrs. Pratt's bungalow much remembered by the champions. Revising some conditions.
Companion.
Baba
Yeah.
had cancelled Baba had cancelled the journey on foot from Najibabad to Hardwar, and with some companions, he left the city by train for Dehradun. It did not seem practical to ship the animals and the carts by rail, so it was decided that these should be led to the headquarters, Dehradun, on foot. Pendu was in charge of this work. The cavalcade of vehicles was led by Donkin. He held the reins of the tanga while Pendu was guard driving the caravan. In between were the vehicles of Baidal, Sadasiv, and Alaba. After journeying some miles at route to Dehradun, With the intention of reaching the destination earlier, the companions forgot Baba's hint to journey by the highway. This detour ended up causing them great inconvenience, and they
We
ended up.
missed one line, I think, Ravi. We missed one line, I think. After
Oh, did I?
journeying, can you read from there? Yeah.
After journeying some miles, at one of the crossroads, some local people suggested a shorter route at Dehradun. With the intention of reaching the destination earlier, the companions forgot Baba's hint to journey by the highway. This detour ended up causing them great inconvenience, and they ended up regretting their decision. When the animals were crossing a rivulet, the caravan, owing to the heavy load it carried, stuck in a marsh patch. In spite of great efforts, the bullocks could not get it out. At last, with the help of some villagers, they removed the muddy soil that lay near the wheels. Can you hold on?
Yeah.
Wheels and instead spread some, thank you. Instead, spread some dried twigs and branches there. This plan worked well, and the caravan was pulled out. The road had wound through a forest area infested with wild animals. To make up for lost time, the party continued to drive. It was getting darker and darker, and the way led through a jungle. Fortunately, they came across a red house built for the forest officers. Circumstances forced them to break the journey. They lit a campfire to keep the wild animals away. They tethered the bullocks and horses around the fire. At night, it began to drizzle. So, with the permission of the caretaker, Duncan, Pendu, and the others passed the night on the veranda of the rest house. At daybreak, they resumed their journey. Because their shortcut had prolonged their trip, they didn't have enough food. So, for the last 2 to 3 days before reaching Manjri Mafi, the party had only one meal a day. Baba was residing in Mahan's house at the erection of the huts on the plot purchased had not been completed. After reaching Dehradun, Baba thought of revising some of the conditions to be followed by his companions in the new life. They had passed through the phases of training, begging, and gypsy life. These phases had offered Baba's companions some objective lessons which had helped them to understand their own weaknesses and merits. Everyone had enough experiences of the comforts and discomforts, the thrill and the fatigue of new life phase. This life had many surprises, some aggravating, some soothing. They had to pass through them all with considerable unconcern. Sometimes it was natural for them to feel depressed and dejected, but they had to laugh it off soon, the sooner the better. Baba, however, never lost his celebrated wit. His breezy humor would reach the hearts of the companions, whispering to them a message of cheer to take things easy. But as the deeper levels of emotions were occasionally stirred up in the new life, sometimes it was not easy for the companions to keep really cheerful. Baba's benign smile, however, helped them in such situations. During Baba's stay in Mrs. Pratt's bungalow, he had several open and intimate conversations with the companions, and by the time left his house, he had practically dictated the final draft of the revised conditions of the new life. He seemed to be waiting only for the arrival of Pendu's party to disclose the three plans. The three plans. On January 15, in a meeting with the companions, Baba communicated the following: You all should honestly and wholeheartedly consider these three plans in their entirety. They are of my own making and my own free will and accord, and you must accept one of them as being my wish and order. By accepting one of these plans collectively and individually, you will still remain 100% my companions in the new life. These three plans make me free to live the new life in my own way and yet keep you all 100% in the new life. These three plans are based on the labor phase. The other three phases of begging, gypsy, and langoti life will be personally carried out by me alone or with the companions staying with me. In these three plans, the 2 points of responsibility before God and no spiritual benefit stand good forever.
There is a footnote. I think it's the
Circular
same
of New Life 3,
New Life 3. Yeah,
10
February
to
19,
February 10th, 1956.
50,
Yeah,
1950.
1950.
So
Oh, I
days
was
after
born
that
in
happened.
19. Yeah.
1950.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
No, I'm just
The
calculating at
first
the back of my
plan was
mind. You know what I
divided.
was doing.
The first plan was divided into three independent units: A, B, and C. A was to be worked out collectively. B was to take effect either collectively or individually. C was to be undergone personally by any companion. The second plan allowed anyone to open any business he wanted or to take any job. The third plan called for total adherence to all the conditions agreed to in the meeting at Mehrabad on August 31st, 1949. Here is the gist of some clauses included in these three plans. Plan 1A, collective. All the companions would cooperate and help one another in adjusting things, each doing his best to keep the plan going. The earnings of the companions from their job, farming, or business would belong collectively to all the members. Baba would have nothing to do with money or accounts. In their spare time, the companions could come together for casual conversation with Baba or entertain him with music and songs. This plan, 1A, in a sense, offered full freedom to Baba for his work and also enough latitude for the companions. If, instead of all, only a few agreed to act according to the clauses mentioned above. Such a small group was classified by Baba under 1B. Baba proposed to keep the carts, tongas, and animals at the disposal of this batch. In Plan 1C, individual, Baba permitted the companions to lead the new life at their place of residence. Some of the terms in connection with this option were the same as in 1A. Such a one was allowed to earn money by taking a job or opening a business. After keeping the money necessary to support himself, he was to send the balance for those who would decide to stay with Baba. He had, however, to give up hope of ever being in Baba's Sahwas again. Those in this plan were also prohibited from having any correspondence with Baba of their own. Plan 2 was similar to Plan 1C in many respects. The companion who chose this plan could go to any Karthik, can you move up, please? Karthik?
Yeah, I had trouble with my network. I'm back now. Can you?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Sorry, sorry.
Yeah, where was I? Those
You
in
have to
this
roll up.
plan, huh?
No, no, you wanted to roll up, is it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Plan 2 was similar to Plan 1C in many respects. The companion who chose this plan could go to any place other than the one he had been residing in the old life. Of course, he had to follow a few conditions laid down by Baba. In one of the clauses of Plan 2, the following was stated: no duties will be allotted to you by me, Baba, and you can lead an absolute independent life. Because of this independence offered by Baba, no one dared to join Plan 2. Who would ever want to free himself from the privilege of being guided by the God man? Plan 3 was for those who were thoroughly prepared to accept the original conditions circulated during the first meeting about the new life in Mehrabad Hall. The necessary copies of these three plans, as suggested by Baba, were mimeographed. On January 21st, he called another meeting of the companions, and everyone received a copy of these plans. They were to study seriously all the conditions before deciding to join any plan. They were to meet again after 2 or 3 days when everyone had to convey his decision to Baba. It turned out that Plan 1A was dropped since it required unanimous approval. Duncan came forward to work out 1B. Kaka and Gustaji joined him, and Duncan shouldered the responsibility for them. Adi, Gani, Babadas, and Anna, 104, wished to abide by 1C. No one thought of joining Plan 2. The remaining 8 companions, Nilu, Pendu, Baidal, Urich, Murali, Vishnu, Sadasiv, and Alova, decided to accept Plan 3 in total. All the companions had to affirm their decision by taking an oath before God, the impersonal and the all knowing. Each one had to follow most sincerely and honestly all the clauses mentioned in the plan of his choice. Some of the standing instructions mentioned in all the plans were not to touch any woman with lustful intention, not to discuss politics, not to criticize anyone, not to tell lies, not to not to create situations directly or indirectly that would invite homage, and above all, to remain cheerful. This maintaining the don't worry and expect nothing attitude. It seems that anyone who wishes to be Baba's companion in his eternal new life has to lead it voluntarily and cheerfully. But the aforementioned injunctions have to be observed as well. Baba expected the companions to remain intrinsically detached from any activity, though in the thick of it, Baba's new life phase was a symbolic demonstration of a life of unreservedly committing oneself to the divine will. To be in the company of God man and to serve him to his selfless satisfaction was not an easy going affair. Those who stayed close to Baba had to pass time and again through fires. Sometimes the mind would rebel and the heart would be in low spirits. But the God man, being infinitely skillful, played with each of his companions a thrilling game to its farthest limits. To illustrate how in the lives of Baba's dear ones, whether in the old life or in the new life, the emotional crises were initiated and resolved. I quote below a letter from Baba sent in the early 1930s To Quentin Todd, one of his lovers from England, Baba dictated, I have all your loving letters and know how you long to be of service to me. You have been and will be still more, dear boy. Why should you feel yourself unworthy? And that I'm putting up with you and so on. For I love you as you are. You have a nice, frank, receptive heart that can and does love, in spite of the constant reverses, as you say, from the head. And that is all I want. When one completely depends on me and leaves things to me as you have, I see that the reverses from the head gradually give away. I will order everything for the best as you desire. The way you feel your own weaknesses open your way and lead you to rise above them. They all have to come out once and the sooner the better. It is better of this that you feel as you do, but you, dear Todd, needn't at all worry, for it is all for the better. Things are being stirred up and they are all brought out to prepare you for the greater future that is to be yours. Love me more, and that will take care of other things, consuming all in its flame, till nothing but pure love divine remains. That's all I want you to do more and more. The merits of the weaknesses of his followers and lovers did not matter much to Baba. He was and is concerned with their total and willing surrender to him. He is ready to accept anyone as he is. In the new life, Baba often stirred up the companions' emotions and then helped them to face their weaknesses. The plans and the many changes in the external aspect of the new life were made by Baba to keep the spirit of the new life intact while at the same time accommodating the natural weaknesses and proclivities of his companions. After all, he is the compassionate companion.
Okay,
So we can
I
stop
think
here. Hmm.
perfect. Yeah, I think it's a one full chapter that we completed and a little more. Very interesting reading. And like I said, personally for me, I like the Mr. God story, which I've heard of, but had it recounted very elaborately and perfectly.
Hmm.
Hope
Hmm.
all of you as well enjoyed the reading. We recognize so many of the people on this group. I mean, on this reading, Keki Nalawala, Keki Desai, so on.
Hmm.
So thank you very much. And I think I'm sorry about the connectivity issues. Maybe I had some, the location of where I'm
Hmm.
sitting from is what's causing that. Apologies and have a great Saturday and Sunday ahead. And see you all tomorrow for God Speaks. Any passing thoughts or comments before we wrap up?
Yeah. Karthik, don't worry and be happy. Whatever happens when internet is not in your internet system is not in our control. And I just have one question. This was the word proclivity or something like that, which came up in the reading. I'll look it up, but or if you can just take it back to the proclivity. Yeah.
What does
Just
that mean? I didn't understand that either.
Tendency to choose or do something regularly, an inclination or a predisposition. So I think it's more the second meaning, inclination or predisposition, accommodating the natural weaknesses and proclivities of his companions.
oh
I mean, just say preferences, likings.
जय
oh
बाबा
Yes, Shashi Tharoor, boliye.
कैसे
Any
हो आप
comment on proclivity?
no no this is beyond my beyond state I don't understand so much English. But my takeaway today is very timely. I mean, today is International Women's Day, and Baba,
Mm.
you read a passage where he got angry with Kumar because he had been not so nice to his wife.
Wow. Yes.
So it's very timely. Baba is speaking to all of us, and I would say that we should all be mindful of the women in our lives. Be kind to them, be appreciative, and understand and value them, and don't belittle
Is there any
them.
chance for us not to be like that?
Then Baba will throw away your food. Then what to do?
Mm.
No,
Namita, you're a man and woman too.
why? No, that's another story for another
You're
day.
not just woman, right? You're just man and a woman.
Yes, but this lifetime, I'm more a woman than a man. But what I'm saying is, just it's so beautiful that Baba, he tells us what is the correct code of conduct for women, whether they are our um, wives or mothers or daughters or friends or people who report to us. Acknowledge that they do a bit more than everyone else, and be kind. Just that's what I wanted to convey. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much for picking up that beautiful coincidence and message. Thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah.
Thank
And happy Women's Day to, I think, the only lady on this call and all of you that are going to listen to this later.
you.
Yes.
Jai
They
Baba.
have women in their system, right? All
Thank.
the people who have women. Yeah,
Sorry,
very
Ravi.
good. Very good.
Yeah.
Namita, for reminding, and that there is, need for being sensitive. And I also want to say that a woman in the household is like running a whole factory or a whole. I've been from the manufacturing background, so the running a household is like a factory, and so we should be grateful to all of them for. It's not just
Uh,
food;
uh,
it's
yes,
laundry. It's so many other things, keeping the house clean, etc. Receiving guests. So there are many things which goes into a home, which is important.
Jai Baba. Yes, very well said, Ashok ji. Woman doesn't only run the factory at home; she runs the human factory. All of us are born out of woman.
Yeah.
So
Wow,
that.
wonderful.
So yeah, so we should be grateful to the joy of the feminine energy in our houses, in our space, and just be a little bit more mindful, because it's not an equal world for a woman. There are more struggles to a woman than a man. So just a little sensitivity from our own hearts to the people within our vision, and with every drop, um, this creator, the creator of everyone, our mothers, she gets her due, and she gets some peace, and she gets validation, she gets trick. Uh, you notice the things which she does, like an automated factory. It takes effort, and she does it out of love. And that love, if you recognize and say, "Thank you, I like this food is good. Are you tired? Can I do something for you? Thank you for looking after my children. Thank you for working and making it happen." So it will make it easier for both sides, because she also feels that whatever she is doing is not unnoticed, is not considered as her mechanical ability to run everything. But at the same time, she feels loved, just a word of thank you, a word of gratitude, a pat on her back. She'll keep going, because I think Baba has made us so strong that we can take more load than many others. But a little validation is something which can keep us going. Thank you very much for listening.
You for the advice.
Jai Baba.
Thank you so much for the heartfelt thoughts, and thank you for being the feminine energy, or the most prominent feminine energy, I should say, in our group, and constantly reminding us of uh, the heart aspect, the strength aspect, and with all your lovely ideas. So thank you for just being yourself.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Thank you so much.
Jai
Take
Baba.
care,
Have a good day. Bye bye. See you tomorrow.
everybody.
Jai
See you.
Baba.
See you. Jai
Jai.
Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.